go. Welcome to the Big Picture podcast here with Thiery Wirngo. Today, I'm with my first guest on the podcast, Pariya,
And that is the one and only Pariya.
the
Hello
one and
there.
only Pariya. Um, First of all, thanks for coming in
Always,
for
you're
this.
welcome.
The weather outside is
I know,
horrible.
it's terrible.
Um, it's crazy because this is supposed to be summer, but
I know,
it's
I
chucking down
know.
rain
See, I
outside.
stick by my words,
Yes,
okay?
yes. If you take anything from this podcast, is that Priya sticks by
By
her
her
words.
words,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
she's
yes.
very dedicated.
Very dedication. Where does this dedication come from, Priya? If you would say.
From Pariya itself.
Priya is an
Just
entity. Yes,
exactly, an
yes,
entity,
yes, yes,
yep.
yes.
And they should learn this from me.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm, mm. Very, very smart. Actually, I met Priya on my law course, and now she's doing a master's
Yes.
in. If you can remind me, is it
Criminal justice. and
criminal
intelligence,
justice?
yes.
So yeah, Priya will be fighting for the people.
Hopefully. That's the plan. No one fought for me, so I have to fight for
Yes,
them.
yes, yes. Do you feel a strong sense of like a need for social justice, especially say just in today's world?
Of course, yes, I do.
Mm,
Yes,
mm,
yes, yeah.
mm.
In terms of, the different situations people face,
Yes.
throughout their lives. Yes, definitely.
Where do you think that comes from?
Comes from, well, of course, my own personal experience.
Mm, mm,
What happened to me with the stalking issue.
mm, mm.
So
Would you mind sharing that? This is a crazy story.
being
Um,
stalked.
being stalked. You wouldn't think it would be like a major thing. But when Priya, initially, if I'm being honest, when
Yeah.
when you initially told me about the stalker, I thought you were just over exaggerating
No,
a situation.
no.
But do you mind just like running listeners through about what happened?
Yeah, sure. So there was, this someone,
Mm, mm,
and he did, stalk me,
mm,
a couple of times. He would knew what time I leave home, what
mm,
time I would come back,
mm,
and he would keep an eye on my car.
mm,
And then eventually, and he would, just stand there, stay outside his, place, and just, day and night, look through the window just to see, where I go and
mm,
when I come back.
mm,
And then one day, I was at uni, came back, parked my car, and then, well, of course, the door was locked.
yeah.
He walks towards me
Uh-huh.
and then bends down and then, knocks on my window. But then, of course, he did have a gift bag with him.
Oh.
Scary, I know. And it was raining that day as well, by the way, winter days. And then, and then he bent down, and then, of course, I got scared. And then I panicked, and then I called up my sister. I was like, he's there, that's the issue. I need to be saved, else
That's
I'm going to
true. That's
die.
true. That's true. I feel like of course I've never been in that kind of like life or death situation, but
Yeah.
like
Hopefully you won in the future.
I hope not. I hope
Hope
not.
not.
But it seems like it was really, really scary.
Yeah.
My question, and this is probably more related to the podcast, is how do you think that changed your perception of men in general? Because say for example, I'm I as a guy, you're very friendly. We're
Yeah.
very friendly
Yeah,
together. We're friends.
friends.
We've
Yeah,
spoke.
yeah.
We've had conversations
Yeah.
together. But these kind of people do exist, and there's a tendency
course, yeah.
with most people to just generalize it and say, okay, if this one guy is stalking me, majority of men are stalkers.
Of course.
Have you had that kind of realization? And if you did, how did you come out of that? Because
After
yeah.
that incident, of course. Well, I didn't think all men are stalkers.
Okay, yeah.
It was specifically, those who were elderly, if that makes sense. And I was like, okay, you know what, Pariya, just stay away from such people. And, after that incident, I looked twice before, leaving home. But, I mean, of course, after that incident, I had to look twice before, but leaving home. I was scared. You never know what was going to happen.
That's true. That's true.
And even, in my car, lock my car.
I get it. It's that sense of you don't know what's going to happen.
What's
next.
going to happen exactly?
Yeah. You're just trying
Yeah.
to be safe. I would say though, and this is again new to the intro. Pariya has risen above this.
Oh, I know,
Yeah,
hundred
yeah.
percent.
This was what 4 or 5 months
4 or
ago,
5 months ago, yeah, back
and
in
it's
Feb.
yeah, yeah. I was genuinely thinking that you would just become secluded, stay at home, never come out
I
again. But
know.
you're one of those people who is like, f
I'm not
this.
gonna be scared.
Exactly.
Exactly. What are you gonna do to me?
Exactly what you said. And again, I'll link it back to the initial question about like your mindset,
Yeah.
and like the things that have shaped your
Yeah.
mindset. Do you mind sharing what has shaped you to have that kind of mindset, that kind of thinking, like, oh yeah, this has happened to me. It's a bad situation, of
Yeah.
course. This
Of
is a
course.
very
Yeah.
very scary situation, but you're not going to just not live your
No.
life because of
Yeah.
this.
Because of this, of course.
Yeah.
I wasn't like this.
Mm.
I wasn't born like this.
Uh,
Okay. I think
just
what
came out of the
happened
womb
just
fighting
came
people.
out exactly. Fight this world alone.
Yeah.
No. I mean, of course, what happens in your lives, and it changes you.
Mm.
And of course, as you grow, your life situations, it changes you, and it makes you,
Mm.
you, where's the right word, Pariya?
I
It's
don't.
just,
Is there a
yeah,
right word in this?
maybe,
Yeah. Okay.
maybe, but yeah. I mean, I wasn't like this,
Mm.
and of course, what happened to me back, a few years ago,
Mm.
and how I fought those battles,
Mhm.
and here I am now, this
Nice,
confident,
nice, nice.
lady here.
Nice. So it's just
Yeah.
like just fighting battles, one battle at
Exactly,
a
which
time,
made me like
and
this. Like, this is
eventually,
not gonna stop.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Korea's not gonna stop because of this. I'm not gonna be scared. No
Mm,
matter what you do, I'm still gonna be there.
that is the mindset to have. I feel like I had a similar realization, just literally just yesterday,
Yeah.
and it just related to my gym story. I think when I initially started working out, it was after COVID, and it was literally in my living room
Okay. Yeah.
in the house, because I was too scared to go to an actual gym.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I honestly, looking at myself now, I can't believe that was what I was doing like 4 or 5 years ago. And that person, that scared person, I believe, I wouldn't say they have disappeared, but it's like I can't even recognize them again. I can't imagine
Exactly.
that was how I was
Exactly.
thinking.
And
If
now look at you
you know,
now doing a
yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, literally doing the podcast, and I feel like it's a matter of compiling effects.
Yeah.
Um, and okay, I think we've gone like a few minutes in, and I haven't even explained the reason why I'm doing the
Oh, yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah.
I
Just went into
yeah,
the,
I just went
the
straight into like
topic.
the discussion. But yeah, it just goes back to like mindsets,
Yeah.
discovering and speaking with different people, learning about their mindsets,
Yeah.
you know having conversations with people, because I feel like if I see
Yeah.
you, for example, I can make an assumption about who you are, the kind of
A
person
good
that you.
assumption, I
A good
believe.
assumption, yes, in some cases. For some
Yeah.
other people, not so
Yeah, of
not so much a
course.
good
Yeah, yeah,
assumption. But
100%.
once I have a discussion with you, it's I have realized, I'm just using you as an
Yeah, of
example in
course.
this
Yeah.
case.
Who else would you use?
Yeah. But like, you're such a multifaceted
Yeah.
person. You're not like, when I seen you in class, the assumption is, okay, this is my classmate. She's studying law. She
Yeah.
probably wants to become a lawyer in the future.
Yeah.
But you're not doing a master's in criminal
No,
justice, which
no,
is
exactly.
totally
Yeah.
totally different. It's related,
But
but
it's different.
it's different. It's
Exactly.
different.
Yeah.
I seen it when we had this discussion about the stalker, for example. Also, I thought,
Yeah.
okay, you would just become entrenched. You just stay at home. You would become very secluded. It would even be harder for you to have like discussions with other people. You see, I made the assumption again, but you were like, no,
No,
I
I
can't.
don't care.
You can't. You
No.
can't. You can't shut it down. And I'm curious because, based on my own past life experiences as well, sometimes when things become too tough,
Yeah.
or when I feel like the situation is above me, I will sort of go back into my shell for a bit, just to re-energize.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
hey,
that's actually a good thing.
it is,
That's
it
what I
is,
do sometimes
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's very, very, very important. But when I'm in that shell, I make so many assumptions about a lot of people,
Yeah.
um, a lot of things that are happening in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, I need that time to re-energize.
Of
But the
course.
issue
Yeah.
is, I feel, lays in my assumptions. Some of the assumptions are right. I'm correct about how I view people or
Yeah.
how I view a situation. But there are times when they're incorrect,
Of
and
course. Yeah.
I feel like for me to reduce the chances of the assumption being incorrect, I need to have a discussion with someone.
Of course,
You know,
100%. That's how it should be. Yeah.
that is true, but that's not how it is.
And that's not how it is.
That's
No.
not how it
No.
is for you. That's not
No.
how it is. So I'm lucky in that I'm able to. I've been able to find people that are open to having discussions
Open,
with me.
exactly.
You know, just about random like again. Not to bring up this stalker.
The stalker.
He
Yeah.
this episode is not about the
The
stalker
stalker.
people.
Yeah.
Less
No.
I'm
No.
just making that known now.
Yeah.
But like just to bring that up again, you know, that's a random thing to tell me.
I know.
We're friends,
We're
but like
friends. Yeah.
this is that came out of nowhere. If I'm being honest, I
Yeah, and
was
it
not.
wasn't even this incident. There was
No.
another one before
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
I told you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pariya is
A
being
lot of
stalked.
incidents.
Please, if anyone knows anyone in like national security, please can they get Pariya into like a watch list?
Oh yeah,
Because I feel like
please.
she has
She's
a
being
list.
stalked.
Yeah, she's.
Her life's in danger.
But yeah, it was another
Yeah,
incident.
there was.
Yeah, and we had a discussion about it. Do you want to share that or?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there was this one day. We went to bonfire night with my family and friends, and then I came back, parked my car, and then I didn't leave home for 2 days. And then it was a Thursday afternoon. I came to my car. All I see was everything was out in my car and it was displaced. And I was like, okay, something's been going on. And then called up my dad and I was like, Dad, what's happening? Like someone's been inside my car. And
Did
he
you think it
didn't.
was your dad?
No, I got scared. I was like, let me
Okay.
call my baba first. Like, Baba, help me out. What's happening? And then, bless him, he was like, just come back home and then we'll go together and see what's happening. And then I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to go back home. And then I called up my sister. She came. And then we checked, everything was out. My tissues, my degree was in the back booth, okay? And then they checked my degree, but it was there. It was misplaced. And everything was out.
Wow.
And then, yeah, but thank God. But they didn't take nothing.
No,
Nothing was stolen, nothing.
no. That is very,
They
very,
just
very
wanted
strange.
to, leave a message.
Yeah, yeah. But we're
God
leaving a
knows.
message to them.
We're gonna leave a message
Today,
to them
today we're leaving a message to them.
Please do listen. That's for you.
But yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
that was the situation, and we did have like a conversation.
Yeah.
Our conversations are not based on the stalker though. I'm also just referencing
yeah,
that.
yeah, of
we
course,
we
yeah.
talk about other random stuff.
Yeah.
But that also like took me aback in that again you didn't go back into a shell. You didn't
No.
you didn't
Yeah.
like limit yourself because of that one
Yeah.
incident. Moving away from the
The
stalker.
stalker,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Moving away from the stalker. We had a discussion, I think it might have been a week or two ago, about business.
About business. I
And
know.
you mentioned, do you mind if I say?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
go
you
ahead.
mentioned starting like a jewelry business.
Jewelries, yes, yeah.
Where does that come from?
Evil eye. So something to do with evil eye.
Evil
I'm
eye.
obsessed with wearing evil eye
Yes, yes.
jewelries. Yeah. I've got a passion for them.
You have a
Yeah.
passion for
Yeah,
evil
you
eye.
see me, I'm wearing an anklet, a ring, bracelet, necklace, yeah. Evil eye.
Evil eye. How does evil eye work? Because my understanding of evil eye is that say for example you're walking on the road, someone sees you, it's like they're basically your intentions are not the best for you,
Of
and then
course,
they're almost shooting that towards you. I
Yeah,
don't know.
towards you,
you. How have you ever had that? Has that ever happened to you or?
Yes.
Oh.
Even recently, I went to this party,
Mm.
and then this lady, she gave me that look, and I was like, okay. And then the next day, guess what? I became ill.
Just for the viewers, sorry, the listeners, that look,
That look,
You-
that specific look.
that specific look is undescribable, but
Yeah.
when you see it, you know
Yeah,
it.
you know it. Yeah,
You
you
know
can
it.
tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell. You can
Yeah.
tell. You can
Something's
tell.
gonna happen.
Yes.
Something bad.
Yeah.
Not even good.
I do wonder though,
Yeah.
and this is my own thinking. Is it a case of you seeing that look and saying, okay, maybe this is a bad intention comes, and I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
Some people do give
Of
judging
course.
looks. Um, is it that you also in yourself like, oh, say, oh, maybe this is about to happen to me, and then you sort of, you know, you sort of make yourself ill, or is it that it's just entirely the like the person's evil intentions in quotes,
Evil
you just
intentions, of course.
quotes and
Quoted again.
quoted and
Yes.
quote, that causes you to be ill. So
Of
my,
course,
my
yeah.
question is it just the person, or is it a combination of the person and you and your thinking that makes that illness happen,
Both
do you
of
think?
them, I think, because
Mm,
I believe in it so much,
mm,
and I'm like,
mm,
okay, it's gonna happen.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm. And so how do you stop it from happening?
Wearing evil,
Ah,
bracelets, or
ah.
but no, because I'm Afghani, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know what it's called, but we have this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then we burn it, and
Mm.
then
Is it like incense?
no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
I forgot the name of it, but
okay.
you burn it,
Mm.
and then you just have to stand there for a good few minutes, 2 minutes, and
Mm.
then just let the smoke come to you,
That's insane.
and then yeah,
Wow. Wow. Because I'm from Cameroon. I might have mentioned this
yeah,
to you a few times. But when people have like malaria, or when they have like a very strong fever, they sort of cook herbs in like a pot,
oh
and then they take a big
nice.
blanket, and then they just cover you
No
and the herbs inside,
way.
and so the steam comes up from that. It is an intense. I'm telling you, it works, but it's intense. I would
Is
not. I've
there?
never. It's never. They've never done this to me because I've seen how people have
Yeah.
come out of it. But once they come out, 2-3 days, they're healed. They just feel better. As there is something medicinal to it, but I feel it's a combination of the actual medicine, and there's also this sort of belief
Yeah.
around it that, okay, once you've done this, you're sort of like
Become
purging.
better. I
Yes,
think it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
psychology of how the mind works.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Let's say paracetamol. Like I've got a headache. Take
Yeah.
paracetamol.
Uh-huh.
After 5 minutes, like okay, I'm gone.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's a
That is
psychology.
true. That is
Yeah.
true. I there are times when I have taken like paracetamol, like ibuprofen, and I feel like the headache has stopped before the medicine can actually
Before,
work.
yeah,
Because
it's
they
just
say
in our
they said they
mind.
said it,
Yeah.
they say it normally works after like two
Yeah, yeah,
hours or
yeah.
something like
Ours
that.
works
But
before.
the moment I put it in my mouth, I'm
Yeah, the
like, I'm
pain's gone.
okay.
I'm
I'm
okay. I'm
fine. I
chilled.
am no longer sick. I am no longer sick. I'm good to go.
Yeah, just a
Um,
psychology.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is a psychology. And just to touch on like that point of the general psychology that basically shapes the way we
Yeah.
see the world. What would you say is like your worldview? What is I want can I use like an anecdote? What is your operating system? Are you running iOS? Is this Android? What is the thing behind Pariya? What?
Behind Pariya.
Yes, yes.
Only lucky people gets to know this,
I'm
okay?
sorry,
We'll
people.
wait for the next
The
episode.
next episode, you will find out whether Pariya is running iOS
Uh-huh.
16
Yep.
or Android
Yep.
24 or something like that.
Oh,
Um,
that's for them to guess. They can have a
oh,
guess.
you can guess,
Yeah,
or
you
you
can
can guess,
guess.
or you can guess. But I feel okay if I use myself as
Yeah.
as an example. My major worldview as of now, and it keeps. I feel like it
Yeah.
keeps changing. It keeps
Of course.
updating.
Yeah, yeah.
Is trying to not do even do better, but just put my best foot forward every single day,
Yeah.
and be consistent with that.
Yeah.
I think a big part of my thanking now is just the consistency.
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
Um, today before coming into this, if I'm being totally honest, I was a bit worried. This is something totally new to me.
Of course.
I've
Yeah.
not done
This is
podcasting
my
before.
first time ever as
Yeah, yeah,
well.
but you're doing great. This
I'm
is
doing
yeah.
great. I know.
This
I
is
always do great.
yeah, yeah. Pariya's operating system is doing great, people. You've heard it here first.
Exactly.
You've heard it
Yeah.
here first. You've heard it here first. But it's one of those things where it's like I'm worried. This is a new experience. I've not done this before. How do I come into this?
Yeah.
And show my best fit, or how do I do this? How?
How? Yeah.
And then this is gonna sound crazy, but I started listening to I don't know if you've watched Wicked before.
No, I haven't.
It's like the Wizard of Oz is like the
Okay,
new
yeah.
the new the new
Oh,
Wicked.
the new one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen it,
So
but I haven't watched
yes,
it.
there's a
Yeah.
song called "Defying Gravity."
Oh,
So I was just playing that on blast today when I
Nice.
went for my run.
Yeah.
And there is like she in that song she
Mhm.
says there's a line about being unlimited because basically
Yeah.
they perceive her as like the wicked witch.
Yeah.
Just because she doesn't want to follow a set of rules
Of
that
course.
have been placed for her.
Yeah.
Um, and so she keeps saying she's unlimited. She can defy gravity.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. I'm not gonna sing the song. This is not what we're doing on this podcast.
No,
And
this. Yeah.
but
Sorry.
like I kind of I don't know. I kind of brought that
Yeah.
into this. I know I do have there are limits. Everyone
Of
has this.
course. Of
There's
course.
certain
Yeah.
limits.
Yeah.
Like
Certain
when
limits.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. But I feel like I needed that extra push today.
Yeah.
Just to get me out of
Of course.
that
Yeah.
mode of thinking. My question to you is whenever you're in like a funk, when you're in like those cycles where you're like, oh, I'm tired, or I don't want to do this. Oh,
Yeah.
let's just think about your dissertation, for example.
Oh no,
Like
stop.
going that is it takes a lot
I
of effort
know
and
it
consistency
does. Yeah.
to come in and just do the work.
Mhm.
What pushes you to do that? What would you say is your own what's your own song? What are you listening to? I'm not
To
saying
my.
I'm not saying you're listening to a specific song, but what's giving you that extra kick?
Okay, I'll be honest, okay? So
Yeah.
the first thing I do, of course, wake up and
Mm.
then I'm like, okay, Pariya, you're gonna be a better version of yourself today,
Yes.
okay? And then I'm like, nothing's gonna stop me,
Mm.
okay? And I'm like, okay, I've got this. I
Mm-hmm.
need to finish this.
Mm.
That's when I can go forward with life. If
Mm.
I don't finish this,
Mm.
I'm not gonna go forward.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yep, so
Mm.
I do yep, and then I'm like, okay, you're gonna be unstoppable.
Mm.
You're gonna leave the house,
Mm.
come to the library, go
Yes.
to the silent area, and just sit and
Yes.
focus and just
I
do your work. Yeah, no distractions.
I've met Priya many a time in the
The
silent
silent
area.
area, that's our place to
Yeah,
read.
yeah, yeah.
That's where the podcast,
That
discussion
that is where
started.
the podcast
Yeah.
discussion started. And I think this is also another reason why Priya is the first guest on the podcast is that we've had this discussion about creating a
Yes.
podcast. It's just good discussions.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
of course.
it's just
Yeah.
one of those things where I might have just said it as like a joke.
As a joke.
In a good
Yeah.
discussion. But
It's happening right
this is
now.
happening. This is happening as we speak. But yeah, so you wake up,
Yeah.
you say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do
doing
I'm
this,
gonna do
yeah.
better today.
Yeah.
Get out of bed and you go straight to the silent area and
Yeah.
you do what you have to do.
And before that, I get ready. I
Yeah.
make sure I look good.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Perea
That's what
always
keeps
looks
me
good.
going. Thank you.
Perea always looks good. Always looks good.
Thank you.
And that's I was actually this is also another assumption because of the way you
Yeah.
show up. I assume that you would want to do like a TikTok. And I think we had this discussion
had
about
this
you
discussion,
getting into
yeah.
like social media
Social
before you're like,
media.
no,
No, I'm gonna step
I'm
back.
gonna
Yeah.
take a step back and actually
Yeah.
just do a business instead.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you feel like in other situations or in other discussions, people sort of put you into like that kind of box because of the way you show up?
I think so. Yes, I've got this a lot from many people, even my friends. They're like, Pariya, why don't you do social media? You like to dress up, makeup, etc., etc. I'm like, yeah, why not? Sounds fun. I can work from home. But then I'm like, no, yeah, nah, it's not my thing.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. And it's one of those things where if you don't really want to do it and
Yeah.
if you're not really feeling like it's meant for you,
Exactly.
I don't think you should force
And
yourself.
once you do enter social media, I don't think there's no turning back.
There is no turning back,
you're
people.
in.
Yeah. All of your pictures stay on the
It's
internet
there.
forever. I'm just saying that now. If you
Exactly.
didn't know, today
Now
you know. Now
yes,
you
thanks
know.
to us.
Now you know. Now you know. This is why you should tune in for the next episodes.
Yeah,
We're
yes,
just
100%.
dropping knowledge
Yes,
like this
yeah.
for free, for free as well.
No money.
My God. But yeah.
That's the one reason, I don't want certain people to see me. Yeah, so rather, be hidden.
Yes, I was about to say the stalker, but
Yeah, the
we're not.
stalker, yes.
This episode is not about the stalker.
Stalker, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I do get that. Especially now with all the AI and
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
yeah, of course.
The information that it's using to create all these pictures is just from the internet. Yeah,
It's
so
horrible.
it's using our pictures
I
to make
know,
new
I
pictures
know.
of people because ChatGPT doesn't create people.
It doesn't.
It can't
It
can't create
no,
people. So
no,
it's only images and videos from the
Yeah.
internet. How do you feel like? Do you feel like AI and ChatGPT would pose a significant risk to your future? I don't know. we haven't had this discussion. So
Yeah.
I know you're doing crim justice now,
Yeah.
and I know perhaps you want to get into work
Work. Yeah.
around legal
Legal field.
legal
Yeah.
and perhaps maybe criminal,
Business
a bit of
ideas, yeah.
both, a bit of both. Are you afraid that AI will take your job?
Yeah. Again, because
Mm.
it's a law field,
Mm.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But in terms of other jobs, I
Mm.
think so. Yes,
Mm.
and that
Mm.
there are people who are jobless because of
Mm.
AI,
Mm.
and robots are doing their jobs now.
Yeah, yeah.
And back there was because I used to work in a pharmacy,
Mm-hmm.
and the job that I used to do,
Mm.
now a robot does it.
Wow.
I know,
Wow.
very surprising.
Does it just deliver the medicine, or does it like
Not deliver the medicines, no. Get the prescriptions,
Oh.
get the medications,
Mm.
and then
Mm.
just brings it to the desk.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
very
That's
smart.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Um, in terms of like your perception of this, because I feel like people will, as you said, people will lose their jobs.
Of course, yeah.
Do you feel like there's a way around this, or do you feel like people can make new jobs in these kind of situations? Because I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
Whenever people are suffering, other people are making money.
Oh, I know.
It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's like
That's how life works, no?
it's insane. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But what do you think? What do you think?
Um, but in terms of people losing their jobs and
Yes.
finding
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
way out, I
Yeah.
think it's a cruel world, okay?
Mm,
Nothing easy comes, okay? You
That
have
is.
to work hard for it.
Mm,
So again, depends on your luck.
mm, mm.
But yeah, I mean,
You should get those evil eye anklets. I don't know when Pariya is
exactly,
opening her
yeah.
business, but
Hopefully
yeah.
soon.
If you
Yeah.
want to surpass AI, please. The advice from me is to buy one of Pariya's
Yeah,
evil eye
please
anklets.
do.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so you
yes.
don't lose your job.
Coming soon. Coming
Coming
soon.
soon.
Coming soon. Coming soon. Yes, so you don't lose your job. What can I say? But yeah, it's insane that whilst people are suffering, other people simultaneously are making
Yeah,
money.
they're making money, of course.
I've started like a trading course,
Mhm.
and I realized that one of the fundamental things is just predicting when other people are going to buy
Yeah,
and then selling at that point, or
exactly.
predicting when other people are going to sell and then buying at that point. Always just being on the opposite side.
Yeah.
But I don't think life always has to be about this opposition. This is hopeful thinking. This is me
Yeah.
being hopeful. My hope is that there will be a day when everybody doesn't have to always people don't have to take opposite sides,
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah.
I know we have opposite views. You definitely see some things opposite to the way I
Of
see them,
course, yeah.
and that's what makes you unique.
Who I am.
Yes, yes. But I feel like even with that, we're still able to have a conversation. We're still able to be
Exactly.
friends.
Yeah.
We're different,
We're different, yeah.
but we're still able to have like
Yeah.
an understanding.
Life's not going to be fun if we're the same. We
No,
have to be different.
that is true. That is true. I feel like the issue comes when people see the difference and then they just focus
Yeah.
on that difference.
Mhm.
Have you been in situations where people have just focused on how different you are from everyone else in the room, and how did you navigate that? Oh, if you have not been in that situation, how would you navigate that? If in
How
the
would I?
yes, yes.
See, I mean, there have been, situations where, I have been judged
Mm,
in the sense, let's say, of what I wear or,
mm,
how I talk.
mm, mm,
And again, that's their assumptions.
Mm.
That's because they don't know who Pariya is.
mm,
Once they do, they're like, oh, okay, she's not that, okay?
mm,
But again, I don't let that affect me.
mm, mm.
I'm very positive and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
let negativity be there.
yes.
Pariya's going to be positive, and yeah.
You're one of the most positive
Yeah,
people I
thank
know.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So are you.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so just taking a step back. So you just it's happened to you before, but you just don't let it
I don't let that,
don't let it
affect me.
don't let it
Yeah,
become like
no,
your
no matter
main
what.
the main
No,
the main
no.
story in your life.
And I stay the way I am. Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah. So I don't change for people. To make them happy.
I feel like in some situations I tend to people please, and
Yeah,
I tend to try to change to
yeah,
fit
of course.
to fit how I think they want to see me.
Yeah.
But I realized that people, the way their perception just keeps changing. So
It
if you,
changes. I
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So if you change to fit what you think they want, they won't want it
Exactly. They
anymore,
want
and you've wasted
exactly.
your time.
Exactly.
So as you said, the
And
best
they're
thing,
never going to be happy.
never,
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 ever. No matter
never,
how much you try. No.
never, 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 never. And so you've already said it. It's just the best thing is just to
Yeah. Stay how you are.
stay how
There's
you
no
are.
need to change. I mean, of course, do improve yourself,
Mm, mm,
but otherwise, no, no need to
mm,
change. Let
mm.
them change.
That is true. That is
Yeah, let
true.
them
That is
change.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. In terms of self improvement, how have you? I don't know if you've been on the internet or if you've looked at any of
Yeah.
the self improvement content that's out there. There's a lot of self improvement content.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
and there's like sort of a drive now for people to just continuously self improve, continuously change who they are,
Nice,
continually
yeah.
change. And again, as you said, it's very important to improve yourself,
Improve
change
yourself, of
yourself,
course.
change
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
But you think there's a line between improving yourself and trying to stay true to who you are, like, and if there is, what would it be like? This is a theoretical question. I'm
Yeah,
just
I'm thinking. I'm taking my time to
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I just think, even with that course, I think it depends what situation you're in
Mm-hmm.
and why you want to improve.
Mm,
And again, I mean, there's no need to change. I mean, yes, you
mm,
can improve,
mm-hmm.
but in terms of the way you speak, the way
Mm,
you carry yourself,
mm,
not because, you're pressurized,
mm,
because other people want you to change.
mm, mm,
So,
mm.
yeah.
And you sort of, and this is something I've noticed, you sort of exude this self confidence.
Yeah.
Does that come from? Have you done one of these self
I
improvement courses?
haven't, no. I've just
Oh,
been lucky born to have this
oh,
confidence.
oh!
But
She
no, I
was
wasn't
born
that
confident.
confident, okay? I was very a shy girl, very, didn't speak much.
Mm, mm,
But, I started to work on myself and I
mm-hmm,
was like, I'm not going to be scared.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a step forward
Mm.
and anything happens, it's going to happen.
This
Okay.
is I think this you doing this podcast is a testament to that, because
Exactly, yeah.
this is a big step forward.
Yeah, first
There are a
step.
lot of things that happened today, listeners. Like, for example, the horrible rain,
I know,
horrible
I
rain this
know,
morning.
terrible weather. In
Terrible.
June.
It's in June as
It's in
well.
June.
It's supposed to be summer. I'm shocked. Um, but if you had even just a bit of self
Yeah.
doubt, I feel like you wouldn't have come here today.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, no, I'm going to come.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
And
That's
I
good.
did.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
happy to be here.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Um, and again, just to sort of take the discussion
Yeah.
back to that self confidence. In terms of my own self confidence, I feel like it's sort of shifted, between the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
I might have a bipolar disorder or
No
something. I'm
way.
kidding. I'm messing around. Um, but it really varies on the situations that I'm in.
Yeah.
Um, whilst on placement, I really felt a boost in my self confidence. I don't
Yeah.
know,
And it's a good thing that you went to
Yes,
meet new
yes,
people,
yeah,
discover
yeah,
new stuff.
yeah, definitely.
That built you as a person.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you, thank you. But coming back to uni,
Yeah.
initially there was that same high, that
Mm-hmm.
same level of okay, self confidence. I can get
Yeah.
things done.
Mm-hmm.
But uni, there's
Drains
like
your energy.
it
Yeah,
drains
energy's
your energy.
gone.
Oh my god, you would not think studying would do that.
I know.
Um, and so it might have been around maybe November, December. I was like, oh, I'm just tired.
Yeah, I'm tired of
Just tired of
this.
this.
When is this gonna be done?
When is this going to be? Not to put this out there. Luckily for me, I'm already done. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
also,
Yeah, just my dissertation
yeah.
work. I'm done otherwise.
um, but I don't know if it's related to, say, the town where we live in or the courses that we're doing, or if there's something, or if it's just like a natural process, because if you look at like nature,
Yeah,
apart from say this country, because then
yeah,
here it goes up and down. Typically we go through like seasons,
yeah,
and I feel like because we are part of the natural world one way or
yeah,
the other,
yeah,
we probably go through similar seasons,
yeah.
things go up and go down. Like it's like a cycle.
A
Almost.
cycle,
Yes,
that
it's like
gets repeated.
you get yeah. And I feel like the for me right now, my goal is to sort of realize when I'm in my lows and sort of manage that
Yeah.
as much as possible. Whereas in the past, whenever that low point in the cycle would come, I would
Yeah.
just sit there,
Just say, yeah,
just be like,
can't be
oh, I'm
bothered.
just so
Yeah.
tired. My go-to thing in that lowest point is ice cream.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So if
That's something new. I've never heard this before.
you've never heard of
No,
the
no,
ice
an
cream,
ice
ice cream
cream.
gets me out of those low situations. But the thing is, I will eat ice cream for like a month or so consistently, and just put on like 5 kg in weight.
Might have to try this out now.
It's risky.
Yeah,
It's a risky. It's a
is
risky
it?
fix. It's a risky fix. I'm not putting that out there for everyone. But if you try it,
Yeah.
ice cream and chocolate.
That's when chocolate.
Sugar, I think sugar will
Yeah,
get you.
sugar.
Yeah. In general, it will help, but it doesn't fix the situation, and it's almost like it's a quick fix.
Yeah.
But then you need to sort of think about what you can do.
In order,
Yeah, exactly.
prevent it happening again.
How do you view like quick fixes? I know you just I don't know if you mind me saying this, but you're not someone who feel like is addicted. I've never seen you taking substances before.
No.
I don't think you're that kind of person. No.
Good assumption though. But
Good.
yeah.
Thank you. I told you my assumptions are right 50% of the time. The other 50% is the problem.
Yeah.
But like how do you then now get yourself out of those lows? Is it a combination? Because I feel like you're also very, very close with your family.
My family and my friends.
Your friends, your community. She
My
actually has a friend here today. You want to give a shout out on the podcast?
And that's Dee.
Yes.
Say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's with me everywhere, okay? But no, of course, as you said, yours is an ice cream.
Mine is not ice cream anymore.
Is it not?
I'm just
No? That's changed?
That was in the past. That has changed.
So what's now?
Now I think I am more doing also family. I feel like
okay, yeah.
speaking more with friends, family, a bit of spirituality as well sprinkled up on top of that. I feel like those are a lot better. They're more sustainable, I can't eat ice cream every day.
Yeah, of course you can't.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah,
no
worries. But I can't lie, I was never close with my family, okay? Never spoke to them as much, never told them what's happening in my life. It was always me, either alone or my friends sometimes. But now I'm so close to them, I share everything, okay? Them or my friends. If not, I call up one of my friends, let's go for a drive. Windows are down, music are loud, and we just go for a drive.
And I feel like that
refreshes you.
It does. And I feel like you need those kind of people just around you, because those I'm not hoping that these low points come, but they eventually do come.
They do come, of course.
Yeah. Things happen,
Things happen. It's life.
And so if you have like a good support system, I feel like you're 100%, you'll be in a better position.
Yeah.
What would you say though? Just to go back again, Pariya does like she is really close with her family. I actually met her once in the library making like a photo album.
Oh my God, yes,
you
did.
Yeah, I was. You were there as well.
She's everywhere with
me. But yeah, just going back, most people don't have like such a strong support system. And some people perhaps don't even believe that they need such a strong support system. Again, I don't want to overgeneralize here. But I feel like with most men I know, they don't believe that you need to constantly be in communication with your family or with your friends. What would you say to that though? What compared to just comparing that to you, the way you're able to tackle these things, or your relationship with your family and with your friends. What would you say to someone who says, "Oh, I don't need that"?
I used to think the same as I don't need my family, I don't need no one. But then eventually, as I grew up, and then certain things happened in my life, and I was like, okay, there was no one around me, and I was like, the only people I have now, it's my family, my siblings, my mum and my dad. And that's when I was like, okay, Pariya, that's when you need to start communicating with them. And that's how we got close. And then but no, and then of course it depends how the relationship is. And you just communicate.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, don't hold it to yourself.
mm,
Speak.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
let it out.
Is
Huh.
and I feel like, as you say, it depends on how the relationship is. Do you
Yeah.
feel a fear to always be honest with your family? I know, like,
Me?
yeah.
Have I been honest with
No,
my
no, no, no,
family? Oh,
no, no, no. I mean, like, do you feel like there's a, because again, this is me
yeah.
using my own
Of
thing. Yeah.
course, yeah.
But do you feel like there are times when you would want to be honest with your family, completely honest, but you're like, no, this is not the situation for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say completely honest.
Mm,
Yes, I'd say some facts of it, but I
mm,
wouldn't let them know the whole story.
mm, mm.
Just bits by bits,
Bit
just to
by
let
bit.
them know,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I wanted Priya to come on the podcast, because she gives you the bits by
The
bits.
bits by bits, exactly. Not the full
Not the
story.
full
No,
story.
no.
Like,
Just a teaser.
just this is just a teaser. This is just a teaser. P.S. By when? What's the name of the jewelry business?
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I was about to give a
Next
selfless.
episode, I'll
Next
think, and
episode,
then I'll
we're
let you guys
coming
know.
with the jewelry
With the
business,
jewelry
the name
business,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yes, yes,
everything,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. But yeah, yeah. I feel like in terms of my own relationship now with my
yeah.
family, as I said, I've moved away from ice cream.
Okay, that's
I'm
good.
no longer
Yeah,
doing the
no
ice
ice
cream.
creams, no,
It's
not chocolate ice creams,
no
no.
chocolate ice creams for me anymore.
Yeah,
And I'm just sort of like trying to build connections with
yeah,
family, with friends.
yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's
It's a
it's
lot of
it's
work.
it's a lot of work.
I know.
Just like just just in terms of like texting and calling and
Just
checking up
calling,
on
yeah.
people. It
Takes 5 minutes.
it does
It does.
it feels good, whereas sometimes in my routine I would have an hour slot to have my chocolate or my ice cream.
But
You
you
know,
missed the ice cream though.
I do miss the ice cream. It's a shame.
Do you
Yeah,
have your cheat days? Just
I do
have like
have
one
cheat days.
ice cream.
I do have cheat days.
Yeah.
I haven't had ice cream in a while though, but I will eventually. Now I feel like
Eventually.
this after this podcast,
One
I might
ice
have it. I
cream,
might have
yeah.
ice cream after this. But I sort of come out of the discussions, feeling better. I'm not going into the discussion with my sister or with my mom because
Yeah.
I want to feel better at the end of the
Of
discussion.
course, yeah.
But sometimes just having that talk with them, I don't know. I come out feeling better. Like, for example, just this discussion now with
yeah.
I just feel better
Of
for it.
course,
I can't
100%,
explain.
yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
explain. But um again, this is more or less the mentality I've grown up with.
Yeah.
You need to, as a guy, you need to put this sort of strong face forward.
Yeah.
Always need to be decisive. You need to be
Yeah.
strong in every situation you
Every
go into.
situations, yeah.
And so having discussions that are open like this, really
It helps
it
you.
helps.
Yeah.
It helps. It helps.
you.
It helps. But it's not what was typically, what I would typically assume
Yeah.
as being masculine.
Yeah.
Um, and this leads me to a question I have for you, for Priya, is what what do you think are like the limits and the bounds of what is feminine and what is masculine for you, for example? What would you, if you see a guy, what are the traits that you would immediately assume as, oh yeah, these are masculine traits, and this is a real man?
Yeah.
That's me over exaggerating
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And as opposed to like, oh yeah, these are the traits that women should typically have.
This question I was asked, I think it was a few days ago as well by someone.
Mm.
I don't have an answer for this question because I think we've got this wrong in our heads now because let's say, for example, as you said, you didn't speak to your mum before, your siblings, but now you do.
Mm.
And some men think a man shouldn't do this because that makes him feel, weak. And they don't want that.
Mm.
But I think that's wrong. That
Mm.
doesn't make you feel weak. That makes you feel, you've shared something with your close ones and they're there to support you. But again, as a man, just be a man. Like, don't listen to others. Just be who you are. And yeah,
I think
just be a man.
the key point we should take from this is Priya is a big advocate for just being who you are.
Yeah, just be who you are.
Yes.
Don't let, the surrounding noise affect who you are.
And there's a lot of noise now.
I know, a lot of noise.
There's a lot of noise now. The both of us tend to communicate mostly
Yeah.
through Instagram, and just Sometimes my feed is insane. It's like I don't know what the algorithm is trying to
Yeah.
do here,
Yeah.
but and you can get caught up with that
Of
a
course.
lot of the time. How what's your perspective on like social media? Like how has it affected you? Do you think it's affected your relationships? Do you think it's
Social
affected?
media.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Me personally, I don't think so,
Mhm.
because that's just who I am.
Mm.
I can't speak for others, but again, I think it does
Mhm.
to most of the people, because I think that's how they process stuff. So
Mm.
let's say, for example, let me go back to the other question that you asked me about men and women.
Oh, okay, I was about to think of
Okay,
say the stalker.
no,
No more
no
stalker.
more
No
stalkers,
more. Oh
no.
no, no more.
No, because I do know a lot of girls that are married,
Mhm.
and and let's say men's they have their own gathering,
Mhm.
and what they talk about is
Mm.
don't listen to your wife.
Mm.
That makes you weak. You're not a man. Why?
That is again. This is gonna come out a bit
She's
controversial.
just a wife. Let her
Y-
be at home. Don't listen to her.
Mm, 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 mm. I feel like it's one of those things that is an inbuilt in our communities is that you
Yeah.
shouldn't listen to the woman. Maybe you should listen to her, but not listen to her too much.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
not too much.
not too
Yeah.
much, not too much, just a bit, just enough, just enough. Yeah, yeah. But the issue now is what is not too much. What is
Yeah. What is
what
not
what
too
is
much?
what is
No one knows.
what is enough?
No
Do you listen to her
one
one on the Monday and then
knows.
the rest of the
Yeah.
week
Don't
you
listen to her.
don't listen to her anymore? And again, I don't think we can speak for all relationships,
Yeah.
but there are certain relationships where you want to have like that collaboration
Yeah.
with your partner. I feel like that's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
doing this for. But yeah, it's one of those things I don't know where it's come from. Funnily enough, I caught up with some of my gym bros on
Yeah.
Tuesday, and we had a discussion just about this, and the guy was like, he feels like some men are just overly entitled, so they feel like they're entitled to and again, I'm just asking your perspective on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
They feel like they're entitled to women and their bodies, and then there's certain women who feel like they're entitled to men and their attention.
Yeah.
And that's sort of just been mulling in my head, because it's again from the male's perspective, I do see that entitlement from some people. His example was some like just chubby guys who when women are passing, they catcall. I didn't know that like catcalling and saying to women was still a thing. I thought that I've never seen it. I've
Really?
never seen it. I have not seen it since I got here.
No
And I
way.
and when people tell me that it still happens,
Yeah, it
I'm a
still
bit shocked,
happens.
because
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
who's doing this?
Who's doing this?
Who's
Yeah.
doing this?
Just stop. Yeah.
Why am I not seeing it? Why am I not seeing it?
Well, now you have.
Yeah, 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 nah. But he was like, oh yeah, the kind of people who are doing this is the way they look, and
Yeah.
again, we're not focusing entirely on the way people look, but
Yeah.
the way they look, these women would never want to have sex with them.
Oh, I know.
But
Yeah.
it's just, so it comes off as rude. It is rude. It is
It's
rude.
very
It's like,
rude.
why
Yeah.
why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Please, if you do see anyone catcalling, please do call them out immediately.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Listen to Thiery.
Yeah, it is a shocking habit, because I don't know if you're walking on the road and a guy catcalls you, do you want to have a discussion with them?
No.
No. How do you feel if someone catcalls you? Like, if say we leave this building now and someone says, hey pretty,
Like,
what? How would
okay.
you? Okay.
Okay.
Would
I
you
know
wa-
I'm pretty.
would you want to have a discussion with them?
No.
So what?
No.
It feels like it's like it doesn't make any
It
sense,
doesn't make no sense.
because they're
no.
not going to have a discussion with
Exactly.
you.
So why?
Why are you doing this?
What for?
We're gonna start a campaign against
Just to
catcalling
make
people.
their day.
You know, I feel like complimenting people is a good thing, as long as it's done correctly.
In a good way.
in a
the
good
right way.
in a good yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it might come off as inappropriate if you don't know the person, but as long as you've established a certain amount of an understanding between you and that person, I feel like you can do it.
Of course. Yeah.
But if you're just randomly saying stuff like that, it's like,
Hold on.
that's weird.
Take that back.
Yeah. we digress. We went on a tangent there. So yeah, coming back to the
what makes a man. Yeah,
What?
and I think don't gossip about your partner in front of other men. That's just not right. And I've seen that happen a lot of times.
Yeah. Guys,
There's no need.
guys be gossiping people.
I know. Women don't gossip, but men do. I know.
I don't know why. I don't know. It sounds shocking, but I don't know why it should be shocking. Like
I know.
there's just other people, you know.
Yeah.
People talk. What do you define as like gossiping? What do you define as gossiping?
In terms of
just in general. No, just in general. What would you say would be gossiping? Like
without the marriage, out of context, just anything.
Anything.
Just talking about someone behind their back, and
so is it talking about them in a negative way?
Negative way.
Negative way.
Negative. Of course not. I mean, there are positive gossips, but it's always negative.
It's always negative.
Yeah, it's always negative.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
There's always a negative point. They take it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
even
yes.
if it's positive, they'll take the negative thing out. They find it. They're looking for it.
Especially the guy.
But yeah, guys do gossip. You know, I don't know. I don't think
gossip?
This is a surprising thing to happen. I'm in when I'm in conversations with people.
Yeah.
It does come up. It does come up. You know, it's one of those things where if you're in a discussion, okay, if I use myself as an example, if I'm in a discussion and it does come up, and I don't feel comfortable speaking about the person, I will try my best to. I wouldn't address it.
Yeah.
But I'll try my best to move the conversation somewhere else. You know, I'll try to talk about something else. You know.
Yeah, change the topic.
Exactly, change the topic. Is that on me? I get it. I have a certain. I have a role in the gossiping as well.
Yeah.
But you know, especially in friendships, because it's already like an established.
Yeah.
You already understand how the friendship works. It kind of seems like you're trying to, you know, go against your friend when you stop them from like gossiping. So I tend to just like move the discussion elsewhere. But yeah, guys do gossip. It happens.
And it's the truth.
It happens. It seems like you both have had like some serious
Which we're not gonna share here.
We're not sharing this information here. Perhaps after.
Maybe. Never say never.
Oh, true. If you sign up for the podcast, we will be having discussions on gossip in the next 3-4 episodes. But yeah, for the guy to be a man, you said just be yourself.
Just be yourself. Don't speak about your partner in front of other men. Just not even men. Just anyone.
Yeah.
And then
That's good. In terms of like the female perspective, and you know, again, this is generalization, but with some women seeking attention, you feel that that's a truth. This was a conversation
from her husband or
from
any man,
from just people in general,
I don't think it's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Okay.
I think it make a woman happy, like, you know.
Yeah.
I think getting attention, like, you know, it's like I exist in this world, like, you know, they give me attention.
And as a girl, myself, I can speak for myself. I will take it. If they're giving it to me, I'll take it happily. Why not?
Do you? Because the thing now is, this is in most relationships, some guys are giving you that attention because they want something, you know.
Oh yeah.
They want something in return, and so when they don't get that thing in return,
that's when they start.
Some they crack. Yeah. That's when, you know, perhaps the gossiping comes from.
Who knows better than Pariya?
Yeah. As we've established here, no one knows better. Yeah, that's where the gossiping comes from. You know, some people take it a step further and you know, start stalking.
Start stalking.
So I'm so sorry for bringing up stalking again. It's like an easy. It's an easy. Yeah. So do you think it's advisable to just, you know, not take the attention in the first instance? Like, you know,
as they say, a woman's instinct is always right. And it depends who the male is. And it depends what he wants. And we can tell. We can sense.
Can you though?
We can. 100% we can. Okay.
I beg finish. I beg to differ though.
I'm done.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, because I've seen guys who have been friends with women for ages. Like I recently saw something on like, this was on Instagram. It was like there's a post about this guy
Yeah.
who had been friends with a lady for 20 years,
Wow.
and she got a divorce, and that's when he said he had feelings for her.
Stop.
20 years
20
later,
years.
that is a. I know,
He
I know,
waited.
and he
20
waited. So
That's
I'm not.
called true love.
Yeah, that's called true.
Is it though? Is it true love, or is that another level of I don't want to say stalking again, but is that just another level of
Yeah.
because he's a friend, but he's a friend who has other intentions. He wants to be more than
I
a
wouldn't
friend.
say that's love.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I personally don't believe in love, anyways.
What?
Yeah, I don't believe in love.
You're
I
the
don't think
most
love's
positive
true.
person I know. How can you say this?
I'm positive because I don't believe in love.
Where is this
Love
coming
is
from?
negative.
Where is this coming from?
Nowhere. I just don't believe in love. I think, let's say, there's two people, they love each other, they get married, okay?
Mhm.
After some time, where does the love fade? Where does love go? And then you see them, they hate each other.
Yes, yes.
So where
yes.
did this love go?
Maybe.
And how do you know that you've been in love? And I've asked this question every single person I've met. How do you know that you've been in love?
So I recently read a book by a psychologist. The book is called The Road Less
Yeah.
Traveled, and he says that typically in a relationship there's like that initial phase where there's I don't know if you've experienced this, but the love is just so sweet. It's like the both of you are one person.
Yeah,
You just want to be around them all the time, but for a relationship to become a lasting relationship and a good relationship when you don't end up hating you have to move past that point and then start like establishing an actual relationship, start speaking to each other, start understanding that sometimes this person doesn't flush the toilet. How do I deal with this?
How do I deal with this?
How do I deal with this? That
You
is true.
speak.
You communicate, you speak. But I think I mentioned this earlier with just reaching out and trying to improve my communication with my family. It takes a lot of effort.
Of course it does.
It's work.
It does,
There is work to be done,
A lot of work.
And
No one is perfect.
no one exactly, no one is perfect. And it's just one of those things where I feel like most people will do the bare minimum if they can.
Yeah.
And leave the rest. But the relationships, the relationship will not survive if you're doing just the bare minimum.
Just the bare minimum.
There are times that you can, but there will be times also that you need to put in extra effort. Extra effort.
100%.
And I feel like with some of the relationships that I've broken and that have been around, and they eventually start hating themselves, it's one of those situations where there was not enough effort. Maybe one person, sometimes, there's a situation where one person is doing too much and another person is, because, as I said, it has to balance up. And so when that ends, that one person who's doing too much feels like there's just so much hate because they're expecting to get the same.
For me.
Exactly.
It's just me doing
Exactly. And that's when the gossip starts.
That's when the gossip
That's
starts.
when the gossip starts. But yeah. I do believe that there is, on a certain level, there is some kind of love. I don't believe in Disney love. If I can call it.
Especially Korean love is
Yeah, she's into Korean love. Obsessed.
You're hearing it first. Korean love does not
Korean
exist.
love. Never know.
Yeah. But I feel like those like movie fictionalized versions of love, I feel like you don't see what happens after the the movie lasts 1 hour. You don't see what happens after. What happens after, you know?
I think what it is, they give you a high expectation,
Mm-hmm.
and as a girl, you get high expectation from those kind of stuff. And when you get with the man and you don't get it, and you're just like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true.
You're trapped.
You're trapped. Yeah.
You're now trapped.
It was unexpected.
And I feel like if again, this is just from some relationships that I've been around.
Yeah.
When one of the other partners feels trapped, and they know they can't go back into the world, they can't go back into the dating game. They're like, I might as well just settle for this. And they're so unhappy,
I know.
They're so unhappy.
I
They're so
know,
unhappy.
I know.
They're so unhappy.
I know someone like this.
Yeah.
They're just so unhappy with each other. But because of they're having kids.
That's
they're
my
stuck
God.
because of the kids.
Don't even bring kids into this.
I
That
know.
is the one.
It's sad.
Some people will stay 18, 20 years
Yeah,
because they have the
because of
kids.
the
Yeah, and
kids.
then
Very
maybe
sad.
they can leave
Yeah.
after. But that's 20 years of your life just
it's
in
wasted. It's gone.
unhappiness, you know, and you don't get back time. And then this is another key thing I think I should bring up. There's no getting back.
No,
There's no getting back the time. That is it. That is it. I feel like I've been lucky enough to meet some really amazing people early on in my life, you know.
Yeah. Including me.
Yes, you know. Early on, I feel like these are the kind of people and these are the kind of discussions I want to be having at this age, like just before going forward.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it will shape me and shape
As
who
a
I
person,
yes, exactly, as a person going forward. Because if I don't do this now, there is no time.
There is no time.
There is no time. There's no time.
Time is running.
It is running. It is running. And I don't know if you've this is one of my biggest fears, probably when I turned 21, was I discovered something called the midlife crisis.
A midlife crisis.
Yeah, a midlife crisis. And it was like, I think I saw a report or something about guys having midlife crisis, getting into like the 40s or 30s like that, just crashing out, divorcing their wife, going to Thailand or something like that, you know, just leaving everything behind.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to get a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Will this be me in 20, 30, 40 years? What? And I feel like that sort of pushed me towards the direction that I am at
Going
today.
forward,
But you know, how have you seen people go through these midlife crises, or do you think it's an actual thing?
I think it's an actual thing. Yeah. Like, say me, for example, I've seen a few people and they're doing the stuff that I should have done, you know, back in my time. But and I think maybe
Pariya says time. She's actually still very, very
I'm
young.
very
I don't
young.
I don't know what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
old.
Time. It's like, you mean when you were 15? Is that what you?
Yeah, 15. I'd say 14, 15. Yeah, just my little siblings. The stuff that they're doing now. And I wasn't allowed to do back then. I was just at home, a good child. And my sister, she's 14, turning 15 soon. Makeup. She goes out with her friends, birthday parties. And I wasn't allowed to do that. Which now I am, but you know, but I wasn't back then. But I do miss, you know, those times. Could have done something.
Yeah. But like just going back to that and going into parenting a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens with time again.
With time
because
again,
I'm the last born.
No
And my siblings constantly complain that my mom lets me go easy on everything I do. But you know, after a certain point, you know, she had me when she was in like her 40s.
She's given up.
She not like she's given up. She was still putting in effort, but
Of
like
course,
it's not like she's not going to police me the way she was policing them.
the
You know,
others,
yeah. Was that a good choice? In some situations, yes. I had a lot of freedom, a lot of autonomy. When I want to do, if you probably noticed this, if I want to do something, I just do it. You know, and that's just the freedom from being allowed to just be.
Do whatever.
Yeah. But in some other cases, you know, there's times when you need the discipline, you need a certain amount of control. And I didn't really have that to a certain level. But yeah. One of my other siblings, you know, she was like, oh yeah, I can't like color my hair or complete my hair. Her son, my nephew, who I mentioned, who's running this podcast, giving a shout out to my nephew, for, you know, he's gonna do all the social media for this podcast. But like, he's doing dreads on his hair.
No way.
They only allowed me to do dreads on my hair when I got into university.
Wow.
He is in high school. Wow. I know. That's 3 years just gone like that. That is insane. That is amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. We just hit the hour mark.
Did we?
You just did. We just did. You know, just to close off on this again. I appreciate you coming in to
having me here.
Have this discussion. You know, I feel like this is a taste of what's to come. Just open discussions with people about varying things. Literally, this was just supposed to be like an introduction into the podcast. You know, just have a feel for the room, have a feel for the people, some of my amazing guests. You know, We're not bringing the stalker up.
Again,
we might just name this the stalker episode. You know,
episode.
No. We're not giving them that power. Never. But yeah, as I said at the start, you know, the goal is to have open discussions with people, and you know, sort of just understand some of my friends and some of the people I've associated
their
with a bit more.
perspectives,
Yeah,
their
yeah.
lives,
And I feel like I'm leaving this discussion, having understood a lot more around gossiping, gossiping people. But just understanding your perspectives a bit better and a bit clearer. And I appreciate that. So yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. See you in the next episode, everyone.
Bye. Bye.